Hi, this is Ken with Silverado Mortgage, and I'd like to talk with you about points for a moment. And stay tuned, there may be a surprise ending for many people. So points represents one point represents 1% of the loan amount, and it's paid in advance as part of the closing costs. Sometimes lenders refer to this as discount points. Sometimes it can be an origination point, but grouped together, just call them points. So on a $100,000 loan, 1 point would represent $1,000. Well, there's kind of a rule of thumb on a 30-year fixed rate loan that our industry follows, and that's basically if you want to buy a lower interest rate, you can pay points to get a lower interest rate. And if you pay 1 point, you'll get about 1/4% lower interest rate. So follow me for a moment. I'll just pick an example and say that if current interest rates were at 5% and that was at 0 points, if you wanted to get a lower interest rate and go down to say 4.75%, if you pay 1 point, you'll be able to get 4.75%. Or say you wanted to get 4.5% by paying 2 points. Up front, you'd be able to then buy the interest rate down to 4.5%. So there's the concept behind points. Now, you don't have to pay at 1 point increments. Sometimes you'll choose to pay 1/2 point, and that will buy your interest rate down 1/8%. So from 5% at 0 points, pay 1/2 point, and your interest rate is then maybe 4.875% or 4 7/8% for that 1/2 point. So you bought the interest rate down 1/8% for 1/2 point. So here's where the surprise comes, is that following that same example, that 5% interest rate, if you as a borrower were willing to accept a little bit higher interest rate, say you were willing to take a 5.25% interest rate, so 5% is 0 points, but you'll accept 5.25. Well, the lender will actually pay you points at the closing table. So at 5.25, the lender may pay you 1 point at the closing table. And so then you can take that point and use it to offset other closing costs. And so this can be very useful in a number of different ways, but I wanted to give you a quick quick example on points and how they work. And I'll mention also that 1 point for 1/4% trade-off, whether it's a higher interest rate and the lender gives you a point, or a lower interest rate and you're giving the lender a point, it doesn't hold true in a perfect lockstep of 1 point for 1/4%. But back of a napkin rule of thumb, good rule of thumb to follow, and specifics will deviate from that somewhat. That's something to take up individually, one-on-one. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you.